What do you do when life breaks apart, but the next chapter has not yet taken shape? I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we're talking with a terrific author. Her name is Esther L. Sani, MSW, MLC, and we're talking about her powerful book. It is called The Meantime Method, a blueprint for building through broken seasons. Esther offers a framework for navigating through grief, divorce, trauma, career disruption, identity shifts, and other major transitions without rushing the process of healing. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Esther, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you so much, Logan, for the opportunity. I'm appreciative.
I'm so happy to have you on the show. This is a powerful book, an empowering book. And the things that I listed off before, divorce, grief,
Yes.
trauma,
Yes.
and so forth, all of us are going to go through one or more of those at one point in our lives.
Absolutely.
So this method, the meantime method, is powerful. Talk to us a little bit about its genesis. How did you come up with it?
Right. And so you said it. We all, at some point in time in our life, are going to go through one or all of them.
Mhm.
And so I am a product of that. It has taken me years to, one, identify what I'm going through, but then also to apply what's needed to get through it. And to have patience and grace with myself to know that I don't have to rush it. I don't have to fix it. If I recycle through it again, it's okay because that's life. It's really just having the principles to navigate through it.
Exactly. And your book outlines 12 blueprint principles. Let's
Correct.
just talk about a couple of them. What would you say are the standouts?
Right. So I would say there are seven intentional standouts. With the first one being telling yourself the truth, right?
Mhm.
Being as transparently honest with yourself as you can in the space that you're in. The next one is tending to yourself. A lot of times we forget while we are tending to everyone else in our ecosystems, we forget about ourselves. Third is trusting your voice. There is no one that knows you better than you. And so that little voice that's consistently in your head, you listen to it and you trust what it says. Protecting your peace, build while becoming. And what does that mean? Continue. Don't stand still. Continue to move forward while you're going through, and then living aligned with yourself, and lastly choosing wholeness above all else.
Wonderful, wonderful. That voice in our heads
Yes.
is very, very important
Mhm.
because that's our self-talk.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we're going to feed ourselves either positive, affirming messages or
Yes.
defeatist, destructive messages. Talk
Yes.
to us a little bit about that voice in our head and how it can help us through these tough seasons or actually make it even more of a burden.
Right. I think, you said it perfectly. And it's listening to the positive voice and almost starving the negative voice. I often tell individuals that I talk to, when you hear, and it's normal, it's human nature, right? You're going through, and you may start off with a positive affirmation, and almost immediately there's something that'll say, oh, you can't do that. And you immediately must stop yourself and say, but absolutely, I can. And when you begin to challenge that negative, starve it so that you're not feeding into it and giving it juice, you will begin to notice that there are more positive affirmations that you hear, not only about yourself, but in yourself, than the negative. And I am a firm believer that as you pour positive affirmations into yourself, everything around you begins to adopt and adapt to those affirmations.
Absolutely. So important. The messages and the conversations that we have with ourselves are the
Absolutely.
most important conversations we will have all day.
Mhm.
Get those negative thoughts, get those complaints, get all of those naysaying stuff
Yes.
out of there.
Out of there.
Clear a path,
Absolutely.
figure out a way forward. One thing also that's very interesting about your book is you say it's important not to rush healing.
Yes.
There is a natural grieving process, right?
Mhm.
If you lose someone, whether it's to death or divorce, for example,
Mhm.
it takes a while to get over that.
It
There's no
does.
rushing it, right?
Not at all. Not at all. And oftentimes, and it's not a assault on anyone who will say this, but oftentimes people will say, you got to get past this, you got to get over this. And I encourage anyone who has gone through any level of grief, and grief is, like you said, the loss of someone, the loss of a job, the loss of self, right? Take your time to navigate through that space. Do not put a timeline or a time limit on the navigation of that grief. But what I do say is don't overwhelm yourself and bury yourself in it. Continue to move forward. If you can incorporate a time gap, right? I am going to be in this space because I woke up sad, but I'm going to give myself 15 minutes to be sad. And at that 16th minute, I'm going to do something that brings me joy. That's how you begin to navigate that space and you don't allow yourself to get swallowed up by it.
That's a good way to look at it,
Yeah,
giving yourself permission to be unhappy, to
correct.
cry, to grieve for a
Yes,
certain part of the day, but then also giving yourself permission to be happy.
that's right.
Whether it's a walk, whether it's playing with your dog, whether it's getting a cup of coffee,
Yes,
just getting out there in the marketplace,
yes.
is amazing how much it can help you, to see other people talking, laughing, it can bring you out of yourself. And
It,
sometimes
it
we
it
need
really
that.
can. It really
Yeah.
can. And that's the key, right? Bringing you out of that space that you're in. And oftentimes celebrating the joy around you will encourage you to come inward with that joy as well.
Exactly. And it's the little pleasures in life that really bring us great joy because the huge vacation is wonderful, but our lives are generally defined by the
Yeah.
day in, day out. So make that existence the best it can possibly be.
I'm telling you, Logan, I'm telling you, a hot cup of coffee in the morning gives me joy. And
I know.
when I'm rushing and I don't get it, I'm like, oh my God, the coffee, the coffee. So
I
yes, it's
know.
the small things.
I'm the same way. My two favorite things is to go into a little town and
Hmm.
find the greatest little coffee shop with delicious
Yes.
coffee or a
Yes.
cool little pub where I can get a nice pint of beer.
Yes,
And
yes, and
those
yes.
are two great pleasures for me. Let me ask you this. What role does purpose play in
Hmm.
recovery?
Right. So you have to always have almost a bullseye vision point of your purpose. Because when you lose it, right, when you forget about your why, you begin to wander and wandering in a space of who am I? What am I? What am I here to do? And so purpose almost becomes the overarching nucleus of who we are. And finding it, identifying it, and then keeping it in your purview ensures that you stay on that, what I call the train, towards your direction and where you're going. Oftentimes when I have conversations with young folks, we talk about purpose, right? How do you see yourself? What is the thing that gets you going? Adopting that and not only just making it your purpose, but also interjecting a level of passion in there so it becomes a true direction for you to move forward with joy.
So many people have trouble finding that purpose in
Hmm.
life. They
Hmm.
don't know what they want. I say that to young people all the time. If you
Hmm.
had a magic wand, what
Yes.
would you do? And they
Yes.
don't know.
Hmm.
It's strange. I mean, I grew up and was born knowing exactly what I wanted to do, and I know I
Hmm.
was blessed.
Yes.
But a lot of people need to spend some time to figure out what will make them happy. And
It's true.
yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
necessarily money, fame, or success. It might be
Not at
something,
all.
yeah, yeah.
Not at
Jim
all.
Carrey says that. He said, I wish everybody could be rich and famous for one day so they could realize that's not the answer. And
And
I
I
think
love
that's,
Jim Carrey. I grew up on him, so he's one of the faves. But you're right.
yeah.
I knew I wanted to be a attorney growing up.
Mhm.
I wanted to be an attorney. I said, this is what I'm going to do. And then life happened, and I said, actually, it's not that I want to be an attorney, it's that I want to give back to people and
Mhm.
help people and be a voice for people.
Yeah.
And so social work was my direction. I think the start is like, what are you passionate about? And then allowing that to evolve as you grow and as you have experiences into what purpose will eventually become.
Absolutely. Talk to us a little bit about how your career, your work in social work and executive leadership has shaped the philosophy of this book.
Absolutely. And so I often say, the meantime method is not just personal life. The meantime method is professional life. And so through the years, I knew, and I have to give a very quick shout out to a man who I often talk to, and his name is Nicholas Grasso. He'll laugh when he sees this because he knows that I love him dearly. But he was my high school assistant principal. And there were times where I did not know what I wanted to do. And I think that Nick was operating in the meantime method without even realizing it, because he was the one that was hitting me with, okay, but what do you want to do? Like, what do you love? Where are you? And through the years, it's those little nuggets and questions of, well, what do you want to do? Are you happy? Does this bring you joy? Okay, if it is not bringing you joy, how do you change these things so that it can? And that's truly how my professional life, advocacy, moving forward with the different things that I do in my current community, has really shaped me. It's making sure again that I stay true to the nucleus of who I am, and my nucleus is my purpose, and it's avocation. It's making sure that I show up for the voiceless. It's making sure that I am readily available to individuals who may feel that their voice will not be heard, but it's also encouraging them past that uncomfortable space and helping them to understand that there is true comfort even in being uncomfortable. And that's how it's evolved.
Absolutely. And that leaps off the screen quite literally when you talk to
Yes.
you. You can tell that you're an approachable, concerned, caring person, a
Thank
friendly
you.
person. And I think it's wonderful. It must help you in your work. It must help
Yes.
the other people around you.
Yes.
And I know as soon as I started talking to you today, I
Yeah.
felt immediately comfortable,
Thank
which is
you.
a great
Thank
thing, which
you.
is a
Thank
great thing. Let me ask you this. When you talk about the meantime, what do
you.
you
Mhm.
mean, the meantime?
The meantime is that place. It's that feeling. It's that existence of, I don't know what I'm doing, how to do it, where I'm going, what is my next turn around the corner. The meantime is almost like, and I say this, but I say this very lightly. It's a place of voidness where you just really can't find yourself, but recognizing that even in the meantime there's purpose. Right, you're there because you have to find your purpose. You're there because you have to re-identify and reconnect with your nucleus. You're there because there's some work that you need to do internally to get you out of that space and to the next level, which is why I always say you can move forward even while you're in the meantime.
Yeah. Sometimes it's tough though, because we're uncertain. We're
Yes.
uncertain if the relationship can't be repaired.
Hmm.
We're uncertain if there's not a pathway back.
Hmm.
And we're torn as to what we should do. Should we keep
Yes.
on caring? Should we grieve and get over? I guess that's where a lot of hard work comes in, right?
Absolutely. And also, right, that's principle one. That's where you tell yourself the truth, right?
Mhm.
What is this? What, in its raw form, how does this affect me? And then right into, you have to tend to yourself, right? Oftentimes, Logan, when we're in that space, we're trying to figure it out. We don't know which way to go, but we're trying to also help the next person that's there with us or on the outside. And we forget about self. And so I will always say, tell yourself the truth, even if it hurts. Like, this is the raw, unadulterated truth. But then tend to yourself, care for yourself, love on yourself, pour into yourself, comfort yourself. Then trust your voice, and then move right into the next, the next, the next. That's how you're able
Exactly.
to navigate in that space.
Exactly. Try to be honest with yourself.
Hmm.
I've also heard it said, and I think it's very, very true. Don't be harder on yourself than you would to somebody you care about and love. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't beat yourself up too much. We're all human. We all make mistakes. If we had that 2020 vision in reverse, we'd all do things differently. But
Yes.
that's just life. That's just life. I'm about to sing a Frank Sinatra song right now, but I
I'm
won't.
here for it. I'm here for it because Frank is another one. My mommy loved him. My mommy loved
Exactly.
him. You know, life would be boring. Life would be boring if we knew what was going to happen before it came.
Exactly.
And
That's
I
great.
think
That's a great way to look at it.
yeah, and I think that we don't live in a world of this is completely written out and this is how we're gonna move because man, I think that oftentimes if that's how life was, there's a show, a movie where it started out and everything was black and white. And then as the actors and actresses began to have experiences, color began to come into play. And they began to enjoy life a little better and the food tasted a little better, right? That pint of beer that you enjoy, it wasn't bland anymore. It had a little bit of
Correct.
fizz to it.
Yep.
That's life.
Yep.
And recognizing that that's how we want to live. I want to enjoy the beer. And guess what? If I like Heineken today and then tomorrow I like Michelob, then that's okay
Yep.
because life is meant to be lived and the
Exactly.
experiences are there for you.
Exactly. Exactly. Beautiful. That's a great way to say it. I think we need to make that movie where we start out in black and white and gradually it turns to color. I think
Yes.
that's terrific. Let me ask you this before we leave you today. After
Hmm.
folks are done reading your book, what's
Yes.
the first change you hope they begin making in their own lives?
I think the first change is going to be to pay it forward and share it with somebody else. I think and I hope that after they experience the meantime method, because I say they're reading it, but it's an experience that you go through, that they are able to truly apply the principles to navigate through the challenges that we're all going to experience. They don't go away. But also pour and pay that forward into someone that's in their circle that's going through that potentially may be experiencing these things as well. They will come out on the other side.
Exactly. Reaching out, being kind to someone else, helping someone else through a dark
Yes.
season
Yes.
is unbelievably therapeutic. It makes you forget
Absolutely.
about your own times because there's always somebody out there who's got it worse than you. That's for
Absolutely.
sure. The name of the
Absolutely.
book is The Meantime Method, a blueprint for building through broken seasons. It's an empowering book that reminds us that the meantime doesn't have to be an empty time. It can be the place where healing begins and the blueprint for what comes next takes shape. Esther,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time, your insight, your talent, the great work you've done on this book. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.